the Compendium Podcast, hosted by Leadership Books. In just moments, our host, Michael Stickler, will be joining us with a very special guest. Before we get started, I would like to introduce you to Michael. He's a 4-time best-selling author, philanthropist, publisher, and highly sought-after conference speaker. His passion is to see life-changing books find their audience. Books that will change your life, change your business, and change your soul. And he specializes in helping authors and business owners achieve publishing success. Won't you please welcome Michael Stickler?
Well, thank you, Ron, so much for the great introduction. Yes, I'm Mike Stickler, and we're here for another Compendium podcast. And today we have a very special guest. They're all pretty special, really. Lolita, and I just call her Lolita G because honestly, I have a hardest time pronouncing her last name. So Lolita is an author and leading stress management consultant. She's nationally certified as a stress management coach. She has performed numerous workshops and spoken to groups across Houston. Lolita is a reliable humorist, has a reliable and humorous teaching style, which you're going to really find out. And she will open your eyes to the tools that help you with the stress, really the modern day stress that we all struggle with. Lolita you'll find is engaging and fun. She's originally from Lithuania. So even you guys down south in the southern part of the United States, you'll pick up she has an accent. And it's really going to be a lot of fun as we talk to Lolita about her book. It's just, I've read some of the bio about the book, the book Crush Stress While You're at Work. And Lolita, I just want to welcome you here to the Compendium Podcast.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
So let's just dive right in because the Compendium Podcast is short and we want to get into the deep parts of your book. So tell us a little bit about the background. How did you get here and get into the whole idea of stress management?
So obviously I didn't wake up one day and decided that, hey, I'm going to be a stress management coach. That didn't happen to me. I was working in the corporate environment. And again, not like only corporate makes people stressed. Okay. You can be working with 2 people in the office, small company, and be more stressed. But as you mentioned, I came from Lithuania and I knew that that's the right country for me to be. If I want to achieve, I just need to work hard. And I was working very hard. I was afraid to say no to my coworkers. I had piled up work on me. I was not meeting deadlines. I had to work overtime, weekends, just because I wanted to please people. And I'm sure lots of can relate with me because if you want to achieve something, you need to work hard. And I totally understood that part. But then when I got physically ill and it was explained to me that was really due to stress because I was in my 30s. I'm like, come on, I can do this. I'm in my prime, so I could just go on and not sleep nights. And my nutrition was very bad. I would just eat whatever it's in the lunchroom, pizza and donuts. There was no time to do any exercise because I work overtime. The only time I will get up from my desk will be going to ladies' room. Pretty much that's my exercise, or going from the car to my desk. And when it impacted me so badly that I end up in the emergency room, a lot of my friends were saying, you just need to take a pill, go to a doctor, they give you, you'll be fine. And I was like, no, I don't want to walk around like a zombie. And it's like, not like depressed. I'm just stressed out. Like love my life, but I'm just have no energy. I, can't sleep and anxiety. And then I really start digging into natural ways how you can manage stress. Because as we all know, the mother nature also lots of things happening and uses stress. Like how does the grass grow? Right? It has to stress through it, right? So obviously I realized stress is a natural thing in our lives. We're just using the wrong way. There is a good stress and there is a bad stress. And if there is no balance, then we'll get physically sick. And I found the ways how we can manage stress naturally. And then I started advising, other people, friends. I was not really planning on doing a counseling or being a coach. But then the more I taught others, some lady said, you can be a coach. We totally can use it. Do you do webinars on this? And I was like, I never thought about that. So when I got into this, it became really my passion. And I say stress management doesn't have to be stressful. Don't take this like, oh no, now I have to do this again. And I have clients who come to me and they say, okay, I don't have time for this. And I say, you don't have time for this because you want to give yourself to your career, you want to give yourself for your family. But if you don't have time right now just to take 5 minutes out of your day or just change your opinion about things, who's going to be there for you when you'll be in the hospital sick?
Right.
Then it's not going to be the time when you'll say, oh, should I, could have, would have. No, it's in order for you to pour out of that glass, you need to fill your glass, right? When you're in a plane, they say first you put your mask on yourself and then assist others. And the stress being for a lot of years just totally overlooked. Now, through pandemic, we realized a lot that mental health is important a lot, and the stress and anxiety and how we deal with that, so we don't get sick. So in a way, I'm sad and happy at the same time that such a bad thing as a pandemic really brought us to understanding that we need to manage our stress better. So then
Lolita,
I'm sorry.
you mentioned a minute ago the idea of good stress and bad stress. Help the audience understand what that is.
So anything that is outside of your normal everyday life is going to already impact your body. And I have some people who tell me, they say, I don't stress at all, I'm very relaxed. And I said, okay, well, do you ever get cold? Of course you do get cold. That's why you put a sweater on, right? Because the temperature outside made you uncomfortable. That is stress. Anything that is outside of your normal is stress. The good stress could be, you're excited, you're getting married, you go on vacation. How many of us go on vacation, we're so excited, and we come back, and I hear all the time people say, oh my God, I need a vacation from a vacation.
Right, right.
Right? Because you are experiencing stress because it's different than your normal life. But
Right.
it's the good stress that makes you feel excited. And so I read a fascinating book on about how stress not necessarily needs to be bad. And I just share a little story if it's okay with you. It was fascinating to me that it's all about how we label things. And so there was a research done between two hotels, and in one hotel they had a poster in the maids who attend the rooms. There was a poster that says, when you change that many beds, you burn that many calories. When you walk all day long, you make 5 miles, and something like this. And the poster says, and that makes you healthy. You're doing all this work, and that makes you healthier. And then in another hotel, they said, pretty much all the same thing, but they said, oh, and your job is very stressful on your body, on your mental health. And they observed those employees, and they realized that the first group that been told that what you're doing is a good thing, that's the stress that you're encountering is actually working in your favor, they got better health-wise. They didn't do any diets, they didn't change their lifetime, but just the opinion about that, the set of their mind that thing is actually working for me, it changed everything. And those people who were told that, yeah, this is so bad for you, they just got sicker. So that just shows the power of our mind, that when you relabel something, when you say, this is not necessarily bad for me, that it just changes everything else in your body. So a lot of things, I'm sorry.
That's okay. So how do you define bad stress?
So bad stress, that is something that you are fearful about, that you cannot change. You don't feel that you're in control of things. In a lot of things I see in my clients, that there's so much worry about something that you cannot change it. So in any situation, no matter what happens, like somebody cut you off in front of you, you have to ask yourself, how important is that? Is that going to impact my life in 5 years? If it doesn't, then forget about that. There's so much of feeling defenseful of whatever that comes to us, then we already go into defense and then create that stress ourselves, instead of just saying, well, that's okay, I'm just going to let this go, because my family and me are more important to me now than the somebody who just cut me off in traffic. And if you think, well, maybe they're just hungry, maybe they need to go to the restroom, maybe he's cut me off because his wife is having a baby. I remember there was this great story I heard on the radio. It said let's say a man was sitting in the car and the woman in front of him was in the car, and they were waiting for the red light to turn to green, but then as soon as it changed to green, she didn't move. So he got, of course, immediately annoyed and started beeping like, why she's not moving. Then she got out and was doing something in the back seat. Of course, he was very upset because all the blondes can drive and the women are such a bad drivers, and and then later he find out that she had the toddler in the back seat that started choking.
Oh, yeah.
So that immediately just changed everything.
Yeah,
It's like, oh my God.
yeah, the whole paradigm change. So what I hear, wouldn't you say that, maybe I should say it this way, wouldn't you say that stress is what actually initiates adrenaline in our system? I was thinking about your vacation idea. Just recently I was gone to Mexico, and the whole wind up to getting out the door, packing, all of that stuff. Did I forget anything? Getting to the airport, boarding the airport, all of those things were good things because I'm going on vacation, right? But the adrenaline rises up inside of you because of the time pressure and did I forget things and those kinds of things. And then on the other hand, some can be that adrenaline rises up because you feel threatened, or you feel disrespected, or because of a past experience that's informing the present, and that adrenaline rises up. So am I right? Stress is generally associated to the adrenaline that rises up in your body. Is that a good point?
Yes, and also we need to understand that kind of the way I see it, it affects us on two levels. One, this has to do with our body. So per se, you didn't on vacation, you were so active and didn't get enough sleep, or you were sleeping on the bed that was not comfortable for you. And then another one is the mental, which is somebody cut you off, and then or you don't feel in control of the situation and things like that. So in order to get the balance, you need to take care of both of those things. So first you need to identify, is it coming from, am I tired? Am I dehydrated? Like I just realized if you dehydrated, it cuts 20% of your brain productivity. So if you feel like foggy and you're like, oh my gosh, I just cannot do anything today, you might be just dehydrated. That can be a very easy fix. When it comes to mental stress, is relabeling things. But as anything else in life, access is bad. So just imagine that you can take stress during your day. Imagine that you're holding a glass of water, and if I ask you how heavy is the glass, you can think, and how many ounces is that, but it really how heavy it is. It depends how long you're going to hold it. Because if you're going to hold it all day long and without putting it down, that's going to be very, very stressful, right? Like anything you do in life. But if you will just kind of hold it and put it down, hold it and put it down, that way you can balance it out. So it has to do the same with the body. You need to have rest. You need to just take simple things like just rest 1 minute. That actually can help you with your body and your mind. If you just set an alarm on your phone, that's the tip. And immediately take, if you're in the environment that you can close your eyes and just totally close your eyes and just breathe in, breathe out 1 minute, okay? And if you will do at least few times during the day, just disconnecting it, that immediately will affect your energy level, your physical level, and your mental level. And I hear all the time, I have people who say, I don't have time for this. The best thing how you can have new habits is to attach to the old habits. So let's say you go into the restroom. We all have to go to the restroom, okay? Take an extra minute or two, okay? Just close your eyes and just be there, okay? Just say, I'm taking a break right now, and the world will not stop. But that way you can help yourself through the day to balance out those energy levels and rest. The more you rest, the better. You're sitting in the car on the green light, just try to just stare at the light and think, I'm just being mindful right now. So get rid of all of that excess energy that you're stressing yourself out, and just physically relax, mentally relax. And there's so many, tips and tricks. I wrote the whole book, as you mentioned, and we don't have time for that. Yeah.
What a great illustration. A glass of water is only heavy depending on how long you hang on to it or you hold it. What a great illustration. In all my years, I've never heard anybody say that, and it's just so true. So in your book, what are some of the tips? What are some of the aha moments that you're going to bring forward to help the reader deal with the idea of good stress and bad stress?
So this book was really born when I was coaching the clients. They will say what tips we should try, and then I would tell them. And then basically I thought, I'm just gonna put everything in one book. And so there are different chapters that have to do with the body, with your mind, with your nutrition, with even setting up your workplace, how to deal with other people. So my book is all there is only tips. It's not just give me meat and potatoes, because we all know that stress is bad for us. So I don't have half a book written how bad it is. This is the tips that you just want to pick up this book and think, I really need to take a break right now, and I don't know what will fit me. You pick up the book and you just can look at the chapters, just the table of contents, and see what kind of jumps out of from the page, and think, oh, you know what, I want to try this.
So
And all of
what are the top two? What are the top two that your readers and your clients like the most?
I get a lot of when you need to take a break, that's actually a short one, and you can incorporate it and schedule yourself into and attach new habits towards the old habits. And the different that was or like closing your, if you in a work environment place where you're just closing your doors and you say, this is time for me. That's the hardest part to deal with people, especially with such a people pleasers. And in the work environment, we're all afraid that we're gonna get fired. So just telling no, that's a very big deal among my clients. Not just saying no to different projects, but saying no to even social life that you don't want to attend, or telling no to yourself of like, no, I'm not going to eat this cookie because I want to get healthy. So for different people work different things, because we're all very different in body and mind. And but those tips that I put in the book, they don't take 2 hours. Okay, it's not like you stressing out the client and you say, hold a second, I'm gonna go yoga and I'm gonna come back in 2 hours. That's not it. Okay, this is something like, oh my gosh, this is driving me nuts. You pick up my book and you just look through the content. You're like, you know what, this sounds about what I want to do. And you can do those tips between 5 to 10 minutes, and then you can off you go for your day. And that's very easy to implement.
For people that are not necessarily working, let's say it's a mom at home who is dealing with her teenager. We all know that's stressful. Or maybe it's a rocky marriage or a stressful marriage. How can they use some of these tips in that situation?
That really does not change that much at all. You just change up the word of saying your environment to your kitchen, to your living room, because it's not like we just also relaxed at home and then we get to work and we're very, very stressed, and now soon we close the door, we're already relaxed again. That doesn't work that way, right? We always overspill everywhere. And the chapter, how to manage your stress, that has to do with different people. Change up the coworker to your husband, to your kids, because we all have the same patterns, and the same tips really works. And if you ask a mother who takes care of her kids at home, she's stressing out more than the one who's sitting in the office. You always can think there's so much work to do. So your work environment is just your environment per se. And
I remember when my kids are grown men now. I have grandchildren, but when they were in high school and middle school, I would be, I'd be at work all day, and then I'd come home and the kids wanted my attention. They had things to tell me or talk about class or school or whatever. And so I would walk through the door and I felt like they were just attacking me. They weren't, but I felt like it, and my wife is going, look, you need to pay attention to the kids. They've been waiting for you all day. And what I was feeling at that time was stress, adrenaline rising up. I just came from work and everybody wanted everything, and then I come in here and everybody wanted everything. And so what I learned, and she and I worked through, is if I got 15 minutes to go in the bedroom, change my clothes out of the work gear, literally, physically and mentally shed the work day, put on the home day, kind of get my brain together a little bit, and then walk back out with a whole nother mindset, it made all the difference. And then she managed the kids. She said, just let your dad go and change his clothes and give him a minute, and then when he comes back out, he'll give you the attention you're looking for. And with all of that, it changed everything. And it was just a simple tip. It wasn't a big deal. Of course, I love my children. Of course, I wanted to spend time with my kids, but there was something going on, the stress of work. And then I just felt like all I felt like is I went into a different office. I went from one stressful thing to another stressful thing. And that wasn't really what was going on. Is that the kind of thing that your book is going to help people with?
So when you just shared your story, that is, I want to add on to this. And I have a chapter about relationships and how to deal with other people, but that is one thing that did not make to the book, about the difference between how women and men handle stress, and that's obviously at home or at work. And I had clients who have relationship problems, and they'd be like, I am so stressed out, my husband doing this and this, and I will listen. I'm like, okay, what's not being told to us? We already know women and men are very different. Sure. We also manage stress very differently. So what happened to you? Let's say you very high, have so much responsibility, you're at work, you come back home and you feel like ambushed because you think that, oh my gosh, now I have to solve their problems too. That's another project on my mind. Right. So the way you manage your stress and lower your stress levels is by getting more testosterone, meaning going to the man cave, unwinding, watching TV for 15 minutes when you just only you, and just like you said, you're unwinding. Also, for men to, if you feel stressed out, it's a very good idea to go hang out with your friends, do fishing, hunting, whatever that you love, what has the testosterone in there. Now, women is obviously the opposite, and the women are touchy-feely. We need dopamine and serotonin, right? So right. If you, let's say, come back home and your wife is upset, do not give her solutions. Tell her, okay, honey, what happened? Okay. And let her talk, and you just, right. Yes, oh my God, I cannot believe this happened to you. How could she? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then as soon as she's done talking, do not give her any solutions. She doesn't need the solution. Women right. get solutions by talking out themselves. And then she goes all out, and then you say, come here, honey, I'll give you a hug. Right. Everything's going to be okay. And the feeling, the talking, then she gets the serotonin and everybody's happy. And then you serve your purpose. You actually solve the problem by just letting her be. And then everybody's happy. And that could be done like in 10, 15 minutes. And I myself personally had this issue with my husband. And when I told him, like, this is what's happening. And then when you make a decision that you're going to change it, like you did with your wife, there is so much stress that can be totally avoided.
Yeah, you're so right, because I remember as a young husband, I would want to fix her problem, which is a testosterone response. And that's not what she needs. She didn't need being fixed. What she needed to do was to be listened and encouraged and some empathy towards whatever she was feeling. Even as her husband, I felt like, well, this is silly, or this isn't really that big a deal. It was a big deal to her. And that's what mattered. And so to let her just express that. And I encourage husbands out there, if you, if she doesn't find you to listen to, who's she going to find? So you need to listen to her so that you can get that. Those are great responses. Great way to look at it. And it was funny also, for me, it wasn't really go to the man cave, because in those days we didn't have man caves. Okay, we're talking about the 90s. That wasn't even an idea. I just went in the bedroom and changed my clothes from work attire to short pants and a t-shirt, and kind of splashed some water on my face, and then now I'm dad instead of CEO. And just that, I found it interesting that even just changing the clothes changed my whole attitude.
The change of attitude, remember we just talked about this at the beginning of the conversation? When you just label things differently, things become different.
Right. It was exciting. Hey, this has been a great conversation, Lolita. I really appreciate it so much. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing, the book, and your consulting, and how people can reach you. Of course, you can get her book right here. It's on the link right below. But also, tell us a little bit about how they can reach out to you and get in touch with you for doing some consulting, bring you in to speak at their organization, all the different things you do.
So yes, my website is called beamazingyou.com. I think that's easy to remember, beamazingyou.com.
Great
And
website.
And I have a link there for those who want to do one-on-one coaching. And then I also have a link there, somebody who wants to book me for the organization to do a speaking engagement or brown bags, lunch and learns, all that kind of thing. Then I also have online programs that, for example, learn how to say no with confidence is for free. Like you go to my website, you click on the link to learn online. And I have other programs that have to do with the stress management in the workplace or for busy professionals, or how to manage stress in the pandemic times. Of course, that's a little bit old now, but it's still a good tips and tricks. If you have to be by yourself and working among family members. So I do a lot of things, and I'll be happy to help anyone who needs any help, just personally or for the organization.
Lolita, thank you so much for joining us today. This has been really helpful. The kind of podcast that I like to share that's going to be meaningful and powerful. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you for having me.
So if you'd like to get Lolita's book, Crush Stress While at Work, you can click on the link right below, or maybe it's over here. I don't know. It could be up there. I don't know. But somewhere on this page, you can click on the link and make sure that you get a copy of her book. And that's a great place to start. And for all of you, reminder that the Compendium Podcast is available every Monday and every Wednesday. You can find it right on this channel at this time, any day, Monday and Wednesday every week. And you'll hear from one of the great authors that Leadership Books likes to bring out to the public, and that will make a difference in your family, in your business, and in your community. These are the kind of books that we like to talk about, and these amazing authors. So until next time, may God bless each and every one of you.
Thank you for joining us for today's broadcast. I do hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And be sure to visit us online at leadershipbooks.store. There you'll find the works of some of the finest thought leaders today. And be sure to tune in here each week to gain even deeper insights from one of those leaders on the Compendium Podcast.